Wow. Wow. I have not done that in a long time. Thank you very much. The main reason I chose that particular song was that was the very first song I learned how to play ever on a guitar. And in the beginning, once again, it was like... Playing guitar is not as simple as it looks. As soon as you start playing, you develop nasty blisters on your finger. And the first time I attempted, I did it for about a half an hour and decided to retire. So it's another classic example of pay attention, get excited, never quit. Pay attention. I had someone who was a great person teaching me. I had to have a lot of enthusiasm about it, but it's the same old deal. I had to get through the awkward phase. And the awkward phase, when you're done with it, you're done with it for the rest of your life. So I got into it. A good buddy of mine said, you know, you sing relatively well. You're always singing in the shower. You're always singing to the radio. You won't stop singing. You know, why don't we make some money with that? You know, I mean, I'll play, you sing, and we'll go to some of the clubs here around school. Now, my brain said, wow, if I can sing, maybe a girl will go out with me. So, and maybe even do more than go out with me. So I was pretty motivated to learn how to play guitar. And as time went along, we did real well. We ended up getting an audition in the hottest place at the college that everyone went on Thursday nights, which was the big night. And there had been a band playing there for years, and we got an audition night one night that they couldn't make it, and they never got back on the stage in that place ever again. So it was pretty exciting, and then we went to playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Got to a point where in the summers through college, I was literally playing 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week, and loving every minute of it. All the passion I had for baseball definitely got wrapped up in the music. And I was, you know, doing my best at writing songs. And I was, if you've been around me at all, I've got a big chunk of yellow in me, a big chunk of creativity. And I was just, it was what I wanted to do. No doubt, done deal. So then I started, when I graduated college, I had to make some money, obviously. And I started my career selling pots and pans and knives and dishes. And, shut up. So I started my career selling pots and pans and knives and dishes, and I liked sales. That's what it boiled down to. Now I look back at it, why was I trying to sell a set of cookware to people who already had cookware? Don't really know. If I was going to sell a set of cookware, why was I trying to sell a $2,000 set when most people paid under $100 for theirs? Don't know. Okay, but that's what I was doing, and I got into it, and I got relatively good at it, and I just loved the competition. I loved the buzz of being in an encounter where I could either make it happen or not make it happen. It was man on man, mano a mano, whatever you want to call it. I just enjoyed sales. So I started doing relatively well, but it was by no means a passion. So I was in that company. And there was a gentleman in that company who was the vice president named John. I won't say his last name. And I started developing a great fondness for John. He was probably my first business mentor. And I was going ahead and playing songs and recording songs and writing songs, but I was doing a cookware deal on the side. And then one day John pulled me on the side and he said, Mark, you know, you're awfully good at this. I mean, I don't know if you realize that you're one of the best new people we've had in a long time. And he goes, word has it that you're also planning on being a musician. And I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. He goes, Mark, got to tell you, you're being a dreamer. Yeah, you're just being a dreamer. I mean, no disrespect, but do you know how hard it is to make it in the music world? Now, ironically, at the time, I was dating a young lady in a very serious relationship, and she constantly said, oh my God, you're such a dreamer, as if with the tonality as if she was saying, oh my God, you're such a child molester. As if being a dreamer was a despicable thing. So I had two people who were real important in my life who told me being a dreamer was a bad thing. John said, Mark, if you do this business, you'll always have a roof over your head. We'll take good care of you, and I'm telling you, the odds are you're never going to make it in the music business. I know. I've been around the block. You know, I'm a mentor, blah, 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 blah. And that was pretty much the end of my music career. Now, that was my choice. I'm not being a victim right now, and I'm not blaming him. But obviously, looking back on this 25 or whatever years ago it was, how many of you think John had a motive? What was John's motive? To keep me in the company so he could keep making an override off what I was doing. But I was so naive, I didn't get it. Now, let me share this with you. Most dream stealers, because that's what he was in my life. He was a dream stealer. And where would I be today if I didn't have him in my life, or if I chose not to listen to him? I have absolutely no idea. Where would my music career have gone? I have absolutely no idea. But my whole life is filled with what if, what if, what if. And so many times it's what if. I remember going to an Eagles concert of all things. The Eagles, the last concert they played before they broke up in the 80s was at the Yale Bowl, I believe. And it was 70,000 people. And I was actually at that concert. It was incredible. And then that was, no one knew, of course, that was going to be the last concert. And then they split up for 13 years, and they said they'd get together again as a group when hell froze over. Hence the album Hell Freezes Over. And they came out with their new album, and they were playing all over the country. I saw them 3 times, but the one time I saw them right in Texas Stadium, where it seats, what, 40, 50, 60,000 people, whatever it seats. And I remember I was sitting in the 3rd row in the center, and they were playing either Take It Easy or one of their very famous songs. And if you go to one of their concerts, almost the whole crowd sings almost every song along with the band because they're so popular and everyone knows them. And I remember just turning around and looking at that stadium and looking at 40,000 people singing that song along with them, and turning back around and wanting to literally just throw up. Because I was like, you know what? Who knows? That could have been me. This is what I wanted to do with my life. Right here, right now, that's what I wanted. And instead of me, it's somebody else, and I don't know, but I have to live every day of my life not knowing what would have happened if I had given everything I had. Now, I'm not saying this to make you feel sorry for me. I'm saying it because dream stealers, and you need to listen to this closely, are usually people that are very close to you who love you and care about you. You need to really hear what I'm saying. As a parent, it's very difficult now that I'm a parent, and as my kids get older, to not reach in and meddle in every aspect of their life because I don't want them to get hurt. Any of you that are parents can understand what I'm saying. But there comes a time when you've got to realize that it's their life. And they're making their choices, and their choices may not line up with your choices. So if my daughter comes along and says she wants to go ahead and get some career path that I feel is ludicrous, I have option A of telling her that's stupid, it's realistic, it won't work, and blah, blah, blah. Or I could encourage her to be the best she could possibly be in that career. Now, I know that it's real easy to say you would take the second choice, but trust me, when that day of reckoning comes for you, many of you, without even consciously thinking about it, are going to tell them what you think they should do. And you're not going to do it in a mean or spiteful way. You're going to do it because you love them and you care about them. So there's 2 things I want to share with you. Number 1, don't be a dream stealer. I think it's a horrible scales of balance karma thing for you to put doubt in somebody else's head about anything that they're passionate about pursuing. I really believe that. The old golden rule, do unto other people as you'd have them do unto you. Now, the other part of the equation is obviously you can't let other people steal your dream. And it's really challenging when there are people who love you a lot. My mom and dad, after I'd been doing network marketing for about 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years. I lived in Philadelphia. They were in northern New Jersey, which is about an 1.5 hour ride. So once every 2 to 3 weeks, we'd get together in a diner. We'd meet halfway between, and we'd have a bite to eat. We'd spend a couple hours. I'm a pretty tight Italian family, so it's important for me to stay in close contact. I wanted to. It was a great, enjoyable time. And they were always, from the time I was born, my biggest fan. No matter what I was doing, my dad is, are you happy? Then do it. Are you happy? Then do it. Are you enjoying yourself? Then do it. So the first year I made over $100,000 in network marketing, and I was sky high. And I had just leased myself a new Mercedes, and I was wearing $1,000 suit, man. I was living the life. And my parents sat me down and they said, you know what, Mark? You're not going to want to hear this, but we're going to have to say it. You've been doing this thing for a while. We know you tell us you're making all kind of money, but the bottom line is you're broke. You have no money in the bank. A couple of your credit card companies called and said you're still late on payments. And that guy who's teaching you is making millions. He's using you. He's screwing you. You need to get a good job and get away from him. Now let me tell you something. I was stunned. I don't know if you've ever been in shock before, but I was definitely in a state of literal shock. Because here's the two people I have more than anyone in the world at this point, and they're slaughtering my dream right in front of me. If you have faith size of mustard, you can move a mountain. If you have that much doubt, you're screwed. They just dumped a bucket of doubt into my brain. So I just looked at them and I said, you know what? You always told me that as long as I was happy, it was great. And now I'm happier than I've ever been, and I made more money this year than you made in any 4 years of your life combined, and you're ripping me apart. That's awesome. That's great. Thanks for the parental love. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to drive around for about 20 minutes and cool down. When I come back in, if you mention it again, or for that matter, if you ever mention that line of reasoning ever again, I'm going to get up, I'm going to drive away, and I will not get back in touch with you until I'm so successful you can't infect me. I love you more than anything in the whole world, but what you just did to me is wrong. And I got up, I walked out. I got up, I walked out, I went to my car, and I just broke down hard. Because a lot of what I was doing was just to make them proud of me. And that's what you got to get. Sometimes the people you're trying to make proud are going to be the ones killing you. My friend Lori did the same thing, man. She was just doing this deal for her mom and dad. And she struggled worse than I did. And her mom and dad closed one of her bank accounts out from underneath her. I mean, they did so many horrible things. And when she finally made money, she bought them a new house. She bought them boats. She was only doing the business to make them proud of her. So I'm telling you, you may never have to deal with this, or you may have to deal with it in a real big way. But dream stealers are a real part of life. And let me just tell you this. Dreams are not supposed to be realistic. That's why they're a dream. Walt Disney had a grade school teacher who ridiculed him in class one day and told him flowers don't have faces. I just got back from taking my family to Disney World for about the 4th or 5th time. And as a matter of fact, we're taking our little brother from Big Brother, Big Sister and sending him and his little brother and his mom there in about 2 weeks. And I have got to tell you, what Walt Disney does to put obviously now that he's been long gone, but what his dreams did to put smiles on the faces of children is unbelievable. More so than any person who will probably ever walk the face of the earth. Where would we all be, and where would all the generations of children be if he let that teacher ridicule him into giving up his dreams? You just don't do it. And you know what? It's going to be tough. And it's going to be most tough because the people who love you the most are going to be the ones who are going to be stabbing you. And the thing is, they don't even know what they're doing. So you're going to have to really digest this information. And if it doesn't apply to you, then let it be water off a duck's back. But I'm telling you something, you can't win the 100-meter race if every time you take a step, someone tries to tackle you. You need to be able to run free in order to make this deal work, and you need to be able to follow your dreams. So, I will do...